What's the story?
How are you, brother?
Good. Good to finally have you on. Like, I've been talking to you for a while. Obviously, we know about your story. Everyone knows about your story. But everyone would have seen just kind of the bits you would have posted and all. We're kind of going to get a bit more into behind it, the emotions, the ups and downs. But
Of
first of all, I
course.
want to thank you for your time. And as well, before we get into the story, how are you and how is your day and how has everything been lately?
I'm doing good. I started, as you can see on my Instagram, I started a 16-week program. Now, I spent the last 2 weeks, I have been basically trying to get my body moving, getting walking, trying to stretch, trying to get moving. It's because I'm in a lot of pain in my back and I still get an awful lot of pains in my chest because from the CPR, they broke my sternum and they broke most of the ribs at the front. I was put in a Lucas machine as well, which you're basically strapped onto a stretcher and this hydraulic arm just pounds your chest. So that does an awful lot of damage. So I still get an awful lot of chest pains and stuff like that. But other than that, no, I'm doing well. And today has been absolutely fantastic. We were in for Kat's pregnant. She's 19 or 20 weeks pregnant. We were in for a scan today, and that went very well. Baby is happy, healthy, and Kat is exhausted and feeling the effects of pregnancy. So it's
Well,
been good.
congratulations to Kat. And I'd say you're buzzing yourself.
Oh, 100%, yeah, 100%. We found out it was another girl. Another one.
Another one, another girl.
Another girl, yeah. I'm destined to never have boys, so I think we'd be leaving it at that now at this stage.
You could get, well, I know someone like that that kept trying and they just gave up after, I think, five, went, you know what, I can't have any more girls.
Yeah,
So,
I'm at that stage as well because I have to take into account my age as well.
yeah, yeah. But, like, we're going to go back to kind of the beginning. I would have followed you from my original page because I would have been, I'm heavily involved in MMA on the
That's
media
what you know
side.
that, yeah. Yeah,
And obviously, it was kind of, I tried to reach out to you. It was kind of Jess, Cutwoman Jess Isaacson, who would
yeah.
put us then in contact as well. But you were
Very
heavily
good
like, you
friend of
make,
both of ours.
yes, she's a lovely, lovely lady. Jess, I don't think you'll
She's a
find,
diamond. Jess is a diamond, an absolute diamond.
um, I don't think you'll find anyone nicer. But she obviously, I have a camera guy, Ron. We do another project together. He knew you as well, so I followed you through that. And then
Yeah,
I kind of researched it when this kind of came up, and I seen about it because it come up on my page. And then I went back and I looked at an old video of you years ago. You used to do dentures for homeless people as well because you were a
that's
dental
it. Yeah,
technician. So,
yeah. I did that.
sorry, go ahead.
I did that for about 18 months. How it actually started was I was walking down O'Connell Street and I was seeing lads there feeding the homeless and giving out clothes, sleeping bags, hats, socks, jocks. And then Hakan was there doing the haircuts, and I figured I have a skill, so and I could help people. So I basically offered my services. They jumped on it, and I spent the next 18 months making dentures free for the homeless.
And you're out there every Friday.
Every Friday, yeah, every single Friday. Hail, rain or snow, we were there.
And I came across an interview then with you. I want to say it was RT News. It could have been a different news outlet. I'm not sure. But at the time when you were doing this, you said the homeless problem is only going to get worse, which if you
Yeah,
look at now, it's progressively got very, very bad at the minute. It's kind of unbelievable. It's mad how obviously you seen that then that it wasn't going to get better. And then in the turn of events, obviously we'll get through it bit by bit, but you nearly
yeah.
became homeless yourself. But talk to us about obviously the reason why you're called the Miracle Man, because you were healthy leading up to that stage. So talk to us about like the day it happened. What can you remember from it?
No, I don't have any memory of it at all. This happened on a Wednesday, and my memory stops the previous Sunday.
Wow.
So it doesn't come back till 3 days after I came out of the coma. I was in a hypothermic coma on life support for 8 days. So it's basically 2 weeks of my life that is completely black to me. I find it very difficult because it's, I want to remember so as I can kind of attach myself to it. I know it happened to me. I'm still feeling the effects. I'm still fighting to get my health back, to try and get a bit of muscle back because I'm literally wasting away. I had 85% muscle wastage from the coma. Your body eats 10 to 15% of your lean muscle mass every single day you're in a coma.
Wow.
So it was, yeah. So I've absolutely no memory from what I've been told. I was actually in divorce court.
Well, that should do it.
If anything's going to do it, that's going to do it, yeah. So the morning I said to my solicitor I was feeling a little bit dizzy, and I went out to get a bit of air. So I went out for a bit of air, and then I was fine. And he said we were sitting down discussing what I would accept and not accept. And I just put my hand to the top of my chest and I stopped talking. He asked me, was I okay? And I went, yeah, I'm fine. And about 2 minutes later, I did the same thing. And he was saying, are you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm grand. And then we just kept talking. And about 5 minutes later, then I put my hand to the top of my chest, put my other hand up, said I couldn't breathe, and fell on the floor dead.
Wow.
So I was 17 minutes getting CPR before the paramedics arrived. They spent another, I actually tracked down, it was A-Watch in Fisborough, the fire crew. Brought in a few slabs of beer, just to say thank you. Brought in a few slabs of beer, and of course, the only thing I knew was one of the ambulance crew was called Robbie. So I went in, and there was a guy sweeping the floor. Guess who it was?
Robbie.
It was Robbie. Robbie, the first responder, the ambulance driver, and one of the paramedics who saved my life. So I kind of knocked on the door, and he looked at me, he says, I know you. And I said, 20th of October, I said in divorce court, and he went, holy fuck, he says, you're still alive. He said, no way. He said, the things we had to do to you, he said, it took us 25 minutes. He says, you were gone 17 minutes before we got there. And it took us another 25 minutes to get you back. He said, we had to use battlefield techniques on you. You'll find a hole drilled in the front of your leg where we had to inject straight into the bone marrow. He said, we had to put the Lucas machine on you. He said, I cannot believe you're still alive. He said, it's absolutely incredible to actually see you up and walking. Because at the very least, I should have massive brain injury and I should be in a wheelchair. Because, you know, I've been 42 minutes dead, Dave. Do you know what I mean? It's a long time to be dead. And from my memory, which I can't remember anything, it's quite boring.
I'd imagine it's when you go to sleep and you don't remember anything and you just wake up and you're like, fuck, I'm late for work.
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's kind of, I've spoken to one of the nurses that attended to me as well. And I was heard that said that she called me, or they used to call me the miracle man in the hospital, because there was no way I should have survived. She said, the stuff we had to do to you, she said, was absolutely incredible. Nobody should have survived it. So yeah, here I am. And still fighting, still getting better. And I refuse to quit. I absolutely and utterly refuse to quit. You see, the thing about it is you can take two approaches, where you can sit in it and go, I had a cardiac arrest, I can't push myself too hard. I have to take it easy. Oh, what's that pain in my chest? I've got to go into the hospital and get checked out. And you can take that approach, or you can take the approach of, do you know what, this happened. It happened. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit back and take it easy for the rest of your life and let your body crumble? Are you going to become... basically, I'm not going to say useless because that's a horrible word to use. Are you going to become incapable of actually fulfilling your life? Because that's what happens to a lot of people. And I'm trying to inspire people that you don't have to do that. You don't have to. You can actually take the choice to get up and do something. Sorry, excuse, I just have to move around a little bit every now and again because my back is killing me.
No, that's fine.
And I have to keep shifting position. So the choice I took was, I'm not going to let this beat me. Shit happens. Do you know what I mean? You got to do something about it. You got to get up and you got to do your best and you got to try and you got to rebuild and become the best that you're capable of being. And my intent now is to become better than I ever was before I had the cardiac arrest, because before the cardiac arrest, I didn't value what I had, which is life.
Yeah.
And now I do have that value. I do understand, and I do realize there's more than just television, and there's more than going out at the weekend, and there's so much more to life, and I intend to grab every single bit that I can.
Yeah, and I admire your attitude because, like you said, a lot of people will feel defeated after I've never gone through anything like that, but you can see a lot of people feel defeated. They want to take it easy. And I don't want to say play the victim, but they don't want to put themselves out there. And like you said, there's so much more to life, to going out, to TV. I think phones is a massive thing now. It's a bit ironic that I'm saying it, that we're both doing this through a phone. But
Yeah.
I think a lot of these things, and I think life is so fast paced now as well compared to years ago. A lot of people don't stop and smell the roses when they really should, go the sort of way, and embrace each
Yeah.
moment as it happens, whether it's good or bad.
Oh, I absolutely agree with you. And to be honest with you, the good is what you enjoy. The bad is what you learn from and what you learn about yourself. I've learned an awful lot about myself over the last 3 years. I always had inklings of who I was and what I was capable of, but it's only now that I realise that, Jesus, Dave, I'm capable of so much more, and everyone is. Absolutely everyone is. I mean, you're from the MMA world. Look at the likes of Nahum, and look at the likes of Conor McGregor and Paddy Holohan, and all the achievements these guys have done. And it's all done through hard work. Every single bit of it is done through hard work. You do not sit back and gain anything. To gain anything, you have to get up and move forward, no matter what. No matter what is thrown at you. It doesn't matter what's thrown at you. It's how you react to it. And that's how I feel.
Yeah, it is. And you mentioned obviously the MMA people. There's one person I remember, the girl, and I won't mention her, but she went like 0-4. She lost the first 4 fights, and she kept going, and now she's in the winning side. So I think she's 5-4, 6-4. So she went on a bit of a streak. So it's like you said, it's resilience. I remember years ago when I was very young, and I had a job, and I had a really bad day, and I was F this and F that, and my manager just came in and goes, "You had a bad day, yeah?" And he goes, "Look, we all have them. What I want to see is how you react tomorrow."
That's it. That's
And
it,
then,
exactly. And that's what it's all about.
yeah, so, but like once that happened, that wasn't the end of the hardship. Obviously, you were going through the divorce. You were self-employed. Anyone that's self-employed, no, I know our friends as well. You can't claim any sort of a welfare. I think there's a ban on like 2 years or something silly like that. So
That's still going on. 3 years later, over 3.5 years. No, 3 years, 3 years and a month later, that's still going on.
that's
It's still
mad.
going on. It's disability. I've sent in 4 forms now to disability benefit. Now, all I originally wanted was 6 months to let me sit back, heal. I haven't been able to do that because I've had to try and force myself to go back to work. And as you can see by shifting around all the time, my back is not exactly great for it. I'm a dental technician, so I have to lean forward. That causes massive chest pain across the top of my chest. So it's kind of, you're living on Solpadol and fatigue. That's what you're living on, because that's what I have to do. I have to look after my family. I've got kids to feed. You know what I mean? I've got a partner to look after, and I can't sit back and let that fall to the wayside. And I will fight social welfare, and I'll keep fighting social welfare, because I had to borrow off everybody.
Yeah.
My poor father-in-law, Tony, good God, I hit him for so much. And people have been incredible, and it shows you the good side to people, and it shows you that in general, people are fantastic natured, and they do want to help, but they don't know how, they don't know where, and they don't know when. And that's a big problem, because as a society, I don't think we talk as much anymore. There's a certain amount of pride of putting up this face and this front. And to do what I had to do, it humbled me so much. It really did. I mean, I wrote the book. Incidentally, it's available on suddencardiacarrest.ie. It's called Miracle Man.
I'll actually post a link here after when it's finished as well, so we can try
I had to get that in, Dave. I had to get it in.
You have to plug it. I would have plugged it for you if you didn't.
No, fair play. And it wasn't raising money fast enough. I had till the 21st of October to raise 35,000. And it just wasn't selling fast enough, because I put it out at 199, which it was way too cheap. But I didn't have enough time to get it out there properly. After Christmas now, I'm going to be looking for a publisher. So if there's any publishers watching that are interested, you have a book 2 and a book 3 plan, so they're all coming. But I'm about to lose me train of thought. That's one thing. My memory is I had a mild brain injury from being starved of oxygen for so long, and my memory tends to go. I run off on a train of thought. And I'm just completely lose where I am.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It's fine. We can like that. I don't usually plan interviews. I just take them as they come. Do you know the sort of way I think it's the best way, and treat it like a conversation. But obviously, you were talking about the book and how that wasn't raising money fast enough, and then you had to humble yourself. I think that's the post that stood out to me. You might have posted before, but I think you started by saying something like, "This is humbling me so much, and I really don't want to do this." And I think that's what caught me.
Yeah. So, well, I'll tell you what it was. A very good friend of mine, someone I consider a brother, Scott O'Farrell, and he said to me, "Kev, you need to set up a GoFundMe." And another couple of people said it to me, and it kind of didn't sit right with me because I've always been the giver, never the taker. And the book kind of gave me a bit of self-value and self-worth that I was actually taking. I was taking a proactive view and a proactive step to actually save myself, and I didn't realize at that stage that I needed help and I needed saving. So Scott said he'd set up the GoFundMe, and I was kind of going, "Oh God, really? The GoFundMe?" You know what I mean? And I know loads of people do it, but it was just against everything I was. Basically pride before the fall, isn't it? So I said, "Okay, do it," and the response was absolutely incredible. One of my neighbours, Jared Walsh, he is a documentary maker, and his wife Hazel contacted me and said Jared would do a video. It's actually up on my wall, and I was kind of going, okay. So Jared came around. Do you know what? They're an absolutely beautiful couple. I haven't met them before, and they literally just live around the corner from me. And it was the first time meeting an absolutely beautiful couple. They really are. And Jared did a video, and the response, and like 20 grand came in one day.
Wow.
One day, and that was people watched the video, and there was just money coming in, and I was sitting here, and I'm going to be honest, I had tears in my eyes there. I had tears in my eyes because I could see it going up, and I knew my home was being saved. It wasn't being saved by me, it was being saved by someone else, by other people I'd never meet. I'd never get to shake their hand. I'd never get to say thank you. But on this interview here, I want to say thank you to everybody. And that's genuinely from the bottom of my heart. Thank you from me and thank you from my family, because we're still in a home this Christmas because of you. It's not because of anything I did. It's because of you. And Jer Walsh, it's because of you too, and Hazel. So, and we can't forget Scott, who set up the GoFundMe either. But it's because of other people, other people's love, other people's care, and other people's concern that we're still in a house and we're still warm and we still have a home. So to each and every one of you, like, thank you so much. I'll probably never meet any of you personally, but just know that you touch my life and you touch my family's life in a way I'll never be able to touch your life. So thank you.
Wow, and like you said, there was pride there. But what I find about the GoFundMes and what you kind of said, you're never going to meet these people. So this is, like, for them, that's a selfless act, because, yeah, you might see the name, you don't know who the people are, but they have done this out of the goodness of their heart. And like you said, I think people want to do good for people, but like I said, they don't know how. Some people might go, I might not have 20, 50 euro to give you, but some people might have, like you had a skill. You had a skill that you were able to give. And I think, like, just say someone could have done a run, someone could have done this, but they all came together. And I've seen Jared's stuff, and I've seen Jared's stuff before as well. I would have watched it. He does stuff with Darren Conway and some of the lads, I believe.
Absolutely, yeah.
So he's very good. And like when I seen that go, because I remember me and you were actually trying to organise the interview then, I say, because you were still shy of the money. But I say, look, I don't want to pressure you, but I think we should try and get this up as soon as possible, or get it going as soon as possible, because to try and get it out there. I didn't have a big platform, but I would have shared it around with MMA people and got them to try and get it out there. But then I think you told me, Jared's going to do this, and I'll contact you in like 2 or 3 days, and that would have left 7 days. And something like that, I looked at it then and I was like, oh, the money's raised. We don't need to do the interview. I was like, right. I was like, right, I don't need to hassle this man now. I just need to leave him for a couple of weeks to kind of come to terms with what's happened, which is what I did. So I just said, look, I'm going to leave you to it. And because you can reflect on it more now. And like that little speech that you gave was beautiful.
But it was, do you know what? It was honest and it was from the heart. One thing you notice about me, Dave, is everything I do was real and raw. I don't hide things. I don't. What's the point in hiding stuff? I mean, I bared my soul to the world, so I have nothing else to hide. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just such a strange thing. And you were talking about the couple of weeks afterwards. It's a crazy, crazy feeling, because I was sitting here sometimes and I was maniacally laughing. It was just kind of, oh my God, we raised the money, and I'd be laughing and smiling, walking around with a stupid grin on my face, and then overwhelming fatigue and exhaustion, where I'd be literally falling asleep standing up if I could. Everywhere I sat down, I was falling asleep. Then it was disbelief, and then there was tears of relief. And it was 2 weeks of an unbelievable roller coaster. That's what it was. So I don't even know if I can explain it now, but yeah, it was just a complete roller coaster. And it was like, it's like you're walking through a thick fog, and every so often it brightens up, and then the fog comes down again, and then it brightens up. And it was like that for a full 2 weeks or more. I was walking around like a zombie, which technically I am, really. You know?
Yeah, well, you were dead for long enough, to be fair.
It's true, yeah, it's true.
We'll have to look up to see what confirms you as a zombie. But obviously, you're gonna have to do that, because like that's gonna happen. I would see. The only way I can kind of compare it is obviously signing the MMA, where having a fight, that adrenaline, and then you have that dump, and then round two, you've got that adrenaline, and then the dump, sort of way. And it was.
And you either control it or it destroys you.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like, I can't imagine, like, there was a series, like, this has been going on for years, so obviously getting out, like, imagine getting out of a situation like that you did, to feel, like, what was your first feelings, obviously, when you realized you were alive and you'd heard everything? Were you just sitting there going, like, is this a dream? Did this actually happen to me, or am I just imagining this? Did I go out for a night out, wake up drunk, and this is, like...
You know what it was? It was the day Jer put the video up. I was constantly checking the GoFundMe, and I was sitting there, and I couldn't function. I literally couldn't function, because people just kept donating, and I couldn't believe what was happening. So I was kind of in disbelief that day. It's still such a strange feeling. It still is, because, I mean, as I said, these people I don't know. Why choose me? You know what I mean? And I understand what happened to me was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. And that's why the nurses called me Miracle Man. But still, it's, again, how do you thank people? How do you thank people? And I think the way I thank people is doing what I'm doing now, and that's trying to inspire people to get up off their chair. Do not let an illness or an injury win. You cannot let it win. You have to get up, and you have to keep fighting. If that means you pick up a sweep and brush and you sweep one section of the floor, and you couldn't do it yesterday, that is a huge, huge, huge achievement. And that's what you have to remember. All the little things, climbing stairs. I'll give you a funny story about stairs, actually. If anyone read my book, they know I escaped from the hospital 2.5 weeks after the cardiac arrest. And it wasn't my first escape. They caught me the first time. The second time, I said to the physiotherapist, it took me about 3 days to stand up, because I had no balance. Obviously, the brain injury had massive effect on my whole body. So it took me about 3 days to stand up, and then I had to walk. And I decided, right, if I want to get out of here, what do I need to be able to do? The main thing in my head was, I have to be able to climb stairs. I have to be able to climb stairs, because I don't want to put a burden on Kat or Zara. So I said to the physiotherapist, I said, would it be good if I tried climbing stairs, you know? And she said, yeah. She said, that'd be great if you could try. So I said, right, fair enough. I went back to the ward, and I said to the nurse, physiotherapist said I have to practice climbing the stairs forwards, backwards, and sideways 3 times a day. So this was actually my practice for my escape plan, because I wasn't leaving the hospital until I could climb stairs, front ways, back ways, and sideways. 3 or 4 times a day, the nurse, myself, would go out to the staircase, up and down, forwards, up and down, backwards, up and down, sideways, and until I was steady and I could do it without help, then my escape plan kicked in. So that's a funny story about staircases, and that's the importance of it. If I hadn't had that drive to escape, basically, if I hadn't had that drive and knew that I had to be able to climb stairs, it was my little thing to push me that little bit forward. You know what I mean? And it's what I say to everyone is, find that little thing that you can't do right now, get help doing it, and then push yourself until you can do it alone, because that's your first step to recovery. And that's how you get better. You don't get better by saying, I'll try tomorrow. I'll try tomorrow. I'll wait till the new year. Every day is a new year for me, because like I was dead, so every single day is a new year. Every single day is a new day. And it's a new challenge. So to everyone out there, whatever you're facing, I don't care what it is, whatever you're facing, face it. Otherwise, it'll beat you. And you can't let anything beat you. You have to beat life. That's what it is. You don't enjoy life unless you beat life. And that's my goal right now, to try and help people beat life and beat their challenges.
Yeah, I like your attitude. And as well, although there was physical implications, I think a lot of stuff like what you said, there's a lot of mental involvement, that your attitude, your mentality, your motivation to get back. I spoke to Sean O'Leary. I don't know if you know him. He was an amputee, lost his leg. I want to say he was massive. He was like 20 stone or something. Went and he does jiu-jitsu now, competed at the Paralympics, jiu-jitsu, and then at the normal ones as well for the well-abled body. Sharon Campbell from America had a freak accident. He came on and spoke with me, and like that, they said he was quadriplegic, and after a year and a half, they said if that was the time frame for him to start coming back, but he said, no, I'm coming. Like, he doesn't walk correctly, he doesn't have like correct thing, but he's walking to an extent that he can get around by himself.
I love that. People beating the impossible. I love that. And you see, we are taught throughout school, throughout college, throughout work life, we're taught limits. We're taught limits, and limits are forced upon us, and then we accept it. Your limit is what you believe is your limit. And I don't care what anyone says, you can push beyond what you believe right now. And people like you're talking about there, they absolutely, I love that. I love that with every ounce of my soul, every cell in my body. I love that, because they're proving conventional thinking wrong, and conventional thinking is wrong. It is wrong, 100% wrong. Because as I said, I should be massively brain damaged and in a wheelchair, at the very least, or else 6 foot under. That's what I should be. But I'm not. There are no limits, Dave. There are no limits, only the ones you put on yourself. You may have limits right now physically, you may have limits right now emotionally, but they're just targets. They're not limits, they're targets. They're targets to overcome. And that's what my goal is. That's what I'm achieving already, day by day. Every day I'm out walking, every day I'm stretching. I haven't lifted weights every single day, but I stretch every night. Do you know what I mean? It's something that you do. I do lift some weights, and now, well, Christmas shopping took over this week, to be honest, when it came to lifting weights. But you're going to be seeing a lot more videos of me lifting weights. You know, they're only small weights. But look, it's a start. It's a limit at the minute what I can lift. But next week that limit will change, and the week after the limit will change again. And every time I keep doing and keep focused, that limit stretches further and further and further. So you're building yourself just by trying.
And I think people, it's the initial step. Like, I'll kind of relate it to something what you said. You said with the weights you're lifting a little. When people go to the gym and they start lifting those small weights, and they see these guys and girls that are in there lifting the big weights, it intimidates them. And a guy actually came over to me. I was like, oh man, these weights are tiny. Your man goes, I didn't get this big lifting these straight away. I had to start where you're starting and work your way up. So like, it's taking that first step is the hardest though as well. And that's what I like what you're doing, is because you're showing people that it can be done. And that's why I created this page away from the MMA page, because I wanted to do something like this all the time. I was thinking of the name was Everyday Heroes, because people look at celebrities and business people and this as heroes, when a lot of these people, not that they haven't done well, but you look around, I look around me for inspiration. The likes of Sean O'Leary, the likes of yourself, the likes of Sharon, the likes of Shane, who I had on about addiction, Mel and her weight loss. These people are around you, and they go through so much every day. I think look at who's around you and where you can take inspiration from, which is compatible to you, which is good to you, and that's obviously why you've I've noticed you've kicked off your Instagram page. Was it because of like everything that you went through? This is what you want to get out there, and you want to help people. Have you received any messages about what you're doing and that is helping them?
I've received so many messages, Dave. Absolutely so many messages. There's so many comments. I mean, the first video I did, it was, how am I going to keep yourself honest? How am I going to show people what's possible? And I said, well, take your top off on camera. That's over 1.7 million views now. 1.7 million. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think the second video I did, I said that the first video taking out my top attracted so many views, and I just made the thing to pull down my tracksuit, and I went, no, we'll hold that for another time. You know?
They're gonna have to pay for that.
Yeah, so it's kind of, it was also to keep me honest, because if I do this publicly, I'll stick to it, because through my life, I have been the procrastination king. I really have. And I'm very good at focus on something, and I'm very good at achieving things, but I kind of get to a certain point and I find an excuse. I find an excuse that goes into 2 excuses and 3 excuses and 4 excuses. And many people will find similar stories. You just find excuse after excuse after excuse. And one thing about excuses is, the most sinister thing about excuses is, they're all valid. They are valid. But you give it the power that the excuse has. You either ignore the excuse or you keep going. And the fact that so many people are watching me, I've had beautiful messages from people, absolutely beautiful. And I've seen a lot of messages of people who have serious difficulties, real physical and emotional difficulties. And they're watching me for inspiration. So how could I not stick with this? How could I not push? How could I not do everything I want to do and let so many people down? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to let anyone down. I'm not going to let myself down or my family down. I'm going to do this. And wait to see what I achieve after the 16 weeks. Because I'm not stopping there. I'm going to keep going. You see, I have a strong belief. I've spent 20 years. I mean, I work on my own in my lab. And all I do is listen to YouTube videos on natural healing, natural health, anatomy and physiology, vitamins, minerals, nutrition, you name it, exercise. That's all I listen to all day, 6, 10 hours every single day. So it's what I love. It's a passion I have, and I never had a way of getting it out there. And now the cardiac arrest has given me a way of getting out there and helping people and inspiring people and getting people a bit of their lives back. And if I can do that for one person, I've achieved so much. You know what I mean? If I do it for more than one, happy days. I'm fulfilling a purpose on this planet. Maybe it's the purpose I came back for, to inspire others to begin living their lives again and not just existing. Because you have to be honest, Dave, the vast majority of people exist. You know what I mean? They don't actually live. They exist. They exist in their emotions, and they exist in television. And well, that's why reality TV is so popular. Because, because you're living your life through someone else on screen.
You're living vicariously through someone else, other people.
That's it, exactly. And we're not supposed to do that. We're not supposed to do that. We are supposed to live our lives. I mean, what's the point of living someone else's life and aspiring to be someone else? Why not aspire to be the very, very best version that you can achieve? And that doesn't matter what stage of life you're at. I don't care what age you are. You can still be the best person you were at that age. You can be better. There's not one person in this world who can't improve. Nobody in this world. Can you name me one person that doesn't need to improve that.
No, because everyone does. It's like it's. I've worked with people who would have been master. I used to do cabinet making, so kitchen stuff like that.
Yeah.
My boss was considered one of the best, and he turns around and says, "The reason why people think I'm the best is because every day I'm learning something new and I'm adapting to the change within the market or this and like that." That goes for your not work, just life, everything in general. You have to
Yeah.
adapt, overcome, and become the best you can be. And like you said, push to these targets and these limits, and push through them. And once you push through the first one, you're going to see a domino effect. Because you're going to
Of
be
course.
sky high on confidence, and you're just going to keep going.
Yeah, and I think what a lot of people do is they set their goals too high. And once you set your goal too high, it always seems unachievable. So you have to set your high goal. Yes, you have to figure out where you're going, because otherwise you walk around blind. So you figure out where you're going, and you figure out small steps to achieve that massive goal. And it's every time you achieve a small step, you're building your confidence. You're building your sense of achievement. And I think a lot of things that's missing these days is people don't have a sense of achievement anymore, because they haven't been taught to build small goals. Do you know what I mean? And if achievement is missing, motivation goes. And once motivation goes, you can forget about it. And I see a lot of people like David Goggins and Bedros Keuilian and Tom Bilyeu and all these people, and they also say discipline is the key. And it's 100% true. Discipline is the key. Motivation will wane. But once you have discipline, you can fight through that lack of motivation until you hit the next achievement. And then once you hit that next achievement, the motivation is back.
Yeah, because people always say that, like, there's days they don't want to go to the gym, they don't want to do this, and they end up being the best days. And I
Yeah,
agree with you with the journey. Is people go, I want to get from A to B, right? But they don't. You need to set these little goals. So, like,
yeah, of course.
for just say for me or for me, example, I'm doing this. I want to have a podcast that's all around the world. But I can't
Yeah.
just get there. There has to
No,
be bits. And the fun thing about it is when I started the MMA stuff, that kind of came out of left field. But there was little milestones and goals that I didn't even know existed to me, and that I
yeah.
hit. And I was, and people like, you know, this happened, or you've done this, or whatever. And I'm like, that's actually really cool. And just enjoying the journey to get there. But you need to have the little goals in between, because, like I said, it's a big jump. But
It's a massive
you,
jump. Even you use the thing there. You go to A to B. If you pick that big goal, you're not going to A to B. You're going A to Z. But you're missing B, C, D, E, F, G. You're missing all the small steps in between. Now, if you want to spell something with A and Z, you're not going to get very far. So you need them small steps to be able to, like, fulfill all those little things that make you who you are.
yeah, exactly. And so many people do that. They just look at where they want to be, but not the route to get there.
Yeah,
Because that's the most important. You can structure stuff that is rigid, but there's going to be stuff that you're not going to know about on that journey as well, and you have to learn, you have to research, or whatever, or it might just come as time goes on. But you need to have little goals. Like I said, they're so important, because, like you said, they'll try one or two things and then go, this isn't working. Throw the toys out the pram and go, it was never going to
yeah,
happen for me
exactly.
anyways. I'm not
Yeah,
that person. But
yeah, no,
everybody has the ability to be the person they want to be. They just need to push it.
exactly. And it's. I don't know if it's a feeling that they can never achieve their goals. I don't know if that's brought on by watching highly successful people on social media. And I mean, you look at someone like Andrew Tate. You look at Bedros Keuilian. You look at Dave Goggins. You look at all of these people, and you see the journey when it's finished, and
Yes.
then you hear the stories of the journey. So you see the story when it's finished. So what I'm doing is I'm showing the story from the very, very beginning. So people are going to get to see the change. It might be slow, but from where I came from, for me, it's like a racetrack. Whereas other people watching from the outside, you know yourself, Dave, you've trained. So you don't see a difference for the first 4 weeks. Then you personally start seeing a difference. And then it takes 6 or 8 weeks for other people to start seeing a difference. So what people are going to see with me is they're going to see the gradual change. So it doesn't put pressure on others that this is what you have to be. No, it's not what you have to be. What you have to be is yourself, and you have to fulfill what you are capable of, plus an extra 1%. I'll always say add that extra 1% because it's the extra 1% that makes all of the difference. All I'd say to people is start your own journey. Don't expect miracles. Don't expect it to be easy. It's going to be hard work. It's going to be tiring. You're going to be in pain. I can tell you now, my hips and my back and my chest are killing me like 18 hours out of every single day. But I still get down on my hands and knees. I still stretch. I still walk. I still lift. I still do everything I need to do to get out of pain. And if you want to get out of pain, the only way you're going to do it is by building a strong body. I'm not talking about huge muscles and stuff like that. I'm talking about sharp core muscles, flexibility, strength, mental strength and emotional strength. That all comes together slowly, but it does come together.
Yeah, it does. And over time. And what I like about your story and the way you are is that what you're going to show in your story, and I think it's important for people to see, is not every day is going to be perfect and there is going to be setbacks, because that's when people tend to go, this isn't working. But like we were talking about earlier, one bad day is one bad day. Like the next day is only like, there's another 24 hours in the next day. And then you just start again and go. And you mentioned the likes of Andrew Tate, David Goggins, stuff like that. Yeah, people see them and they will look at them, and this is what annoys me. They look at fighters, they look at football players, and people go, they're just talented, they're just naturally gifted.
Yeah.
If you watch that David Beckham documentary, they were talking about how he, once training was over, he then stayed for another hour from every angle, taking free kicks, taking corners, when everyone else was gone home, he was still there for an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Michael Jordan used to do the same. He used to do the exact same thing. And it's when people look at people who are successful or people who are in really good shape, they see the finished product. They don't see that finished product is still a work in progress. They see it as a finished product because that's their goal. But the actual people still see themselves as a work in progress, and they still get out and they train 2, 3, 4 hours a day. You know what I mean? And it's not a journey that there's a specific goal, because as you move along that journey, your goals are going to change and your goals are going to expand and going to get more and better as you're able for more. So please, people, don't look at people who are finished products and say, I'll never achieve that. You'll never achieve it sitting on the chair saying you'll never achieve it. You'll only achieve it by getting up and taking that first step. Lift the Barbie weight. Lift the tiny little weight. You know what I mean? If you don't have a weight, use a tin of beans, pound of sugar. You know what I mean? And that's the key. You just have to find ways where what works for you. Like what works for me is not going to work for other people. So you have to find your own. And another thing I'll say is people have to learn. People have to learn beyond what conventional wisdom will give you, because there's so much more out there. Conventional wisdom is the acceptable wisdom. And it's kind of to reach an average. It's not about you. I never wanted to be average, Dave. Did you?
Well,
no, you don't want to be average. You want to be better. You want to be more, but there's very little information out there. Well, no, there's loads of it. I'm going to change that. There's loads of information out there, but people don't look at it. You know what I mean? Because
it's hard to find the right stuff sometimes as well, because there is an overload as well.
Well, there is a huge overload, a massive overload. As I say, what I'm going to be sharing with people is, stuff that is logical, stuff that is provable, stuff that has been researched, and it's not my own knowledge. It's not my own knowledge. I haven't done the research. I haven't done this. This is coming from scientists, from doctors, from professors. Like there's one doctor, and I absolutely love her, Dr. Gabrielle Lyons. She is a geriatrician, and she has proven herself and Don Lyman, who was her mentor, and they have proven the importance of protein and creatine in older age and the importance of building and rebuilding muscle. Sarcopenia, which is muscle wastage, is accepted as you get older. It's not accepted. It's not. That's not the truth. You can still build a healthy, strong body that's capable of moving and lifting and pulling and pushing. You can still do that no matter what age you are. It doesn't matter. And she has a book out called Forever Strong. Absolutely fascinating. absolutely fascinating, and it has all the science there to back it up. Everything. Yeah, so I mean, if you want to pick up a book about the human body, Forever Strong is probably one of the better ones out there. No disrespect to anyone else who's written books about the human body, but it's one of my favorites. I haven't finished reading it. I finished reading it over the Christmas, but highly recommend it. Dr. Gabrielle Lyons, she's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I actually seen you do a post about her earlier. Was it today or yesterday? Was it today?
I think it was yesterday. I think it was
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah, because obviously I'm on this page and another page, so some stuff comes up the day after. But yeah, people
Yeah,
like you said, people think as you get older, this should just be accepted. And then I can't remember where I've seen it. There was like I want to say he was in the 60s, and this guy was ripped. Like he was
yeah,
ripped, and he said it's from as he got older, he realized that he should have been eating healthy and training as he was younger. So when he got into his
yeah,
40s, he said, I need to do this now because his body was starting to break down, and he feels better
yeah.
now at 60 than he did in his mid 30s.
Yeah, well, you see, the thing about it is, I mean, a lot of what we call, excuse me, a lot of what we call old age is toxicity. That's what it is. It's years of eating rubbish food, like processed rubbish. If it comes in a box or a packet, it's poison,
Yeah,
and that's the truth of the matter. And years of that, it's going to break down anything. It's like, say you have a house, right, brand new house. And 50 years later, you have a house that you put all the best stuff into, and you maintained it and looked after it, and done what had to be done with it. And then you have the house next door who did nothing with it. Like, that's what the human body is like. The human body, if you feed it correctly, make sure it has enough vitamins, minerals, water. Water is essential. Creatine, protein. Make sure you're eating correctly, and you're exercising. It's the same as a 50-year-old house. If you eat shit food, if you don't exercise, if you spend a lot of time sitting in the chair, swill down beer every night and stuff like that, and no disrespect, everyone has a beer every now and again, but it's your body degrades like anything else. I mean, we're on a physical plane, and anything physical will degrade if it's not taken care of. So the human body has to be taken care of. We're given a race car and we treat it like a pile of shit, like a stock car. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. And the food thing, that's something I've looking into more myself. There's a guy I found. I'm gonna send him to you actually. And you know, when it comes to pains and aches and stuff, he has all the natural remedies, whether it be ginger tea, do this, do that.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
someone that might interest you. He's called the exiled medic or something. But
Yeah.
I'll send him to
Yeah,
you.
send me a link. Yeah, I'd love to see the stuff.
And then like that, the cheap food is just so accessible. It's so easy to get nowadays as well. And then
Yeah,
I've worked in retail. A lot of the packaging is misleading. So just say if you get chickens from another country and you slaughter
yeah,
them here, they're considered
yeah,
Irish chickens, even though they're not. You know,
yeah.
there's a lot of funny business within the food market globally.
It's huge about it. Yeah,
It's very, there is some very shady goings on and stuff like that.
yeah,
But that's a whole nother story, and we could go on about that. But
yeah,
I'm gonna let you go. What I would like to do with you, because I've really enjoyed this chat, is
yeah.
every maybe 6 to 8 weeks have a bit of a catch up.
Oh,
Um,
100%. I love it, Bev. I absolutely love it. Yeah,
and then we can do this for like this, and half an hour, and then we'll pick up kind of from here. I'll be
yeah,
following your story. Then we do this again, and then we do a catch up. Your ups and downs, your highs and lows, what was
yeah,
working for you, what wasn't working for you, and all
yeah.
the in betweens. If that's something that is interesting you, I definitely love to do stuff like that.
Yeah, I'd love to do it because you know what? It'll keep me honest as well. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
I need
So
every little bit of help I can get.
yeah, no, that's 100%. And then like that, people can come in with suggestions. People can come in with questions. But I am going to let you go. Is there anything you want to say before you go, or anyone you want to thank?
As I say, everyone who donated to the GoFundMe, everyone who read the book, everyone who bought the book, I want to thank you all. To friends, family who supported me over the last 3 years, and they have supported me. Trust me, they have, in more ways than one. Not just financially, they've supported me physically. And I mean, Scott, I'll give you a quick one. Scott, the guy who set up the GoFundMe, he appeared at my doorstep a week and a half ago, and I usually buy me paint off him. He's a painter and decorator, and he arrived with a van, paint in the van, and he said, "Oh, by the way, we're painting your hall stairs and land in the kitchen today." You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Out of nowhere. So it's that kind of kindness, and and it's just respect for others. Something else I want to say is, if you find yourself in a position where you feel lost, where you feel that this is your life now, trust me, it's not. It's not your life. You can choose to improve every single day. And as I say, it's a minuscule bit of percentage you improve every day. But please, 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 try. And if I can help you, let me know. I will. It takes me a while to answer comments because there's so many of them at the minute. But if I can help in any way, I will help anybody. I don't care who they are. I don't care the position. But please try. You can get better. And you will. I promise you, you will. Just try.
Perfect. I want to thank you so much for your time. This has been an absolute pleasure for me. I'm glad we finally got this done. And I will give you a shout in a few minutes. I'm going to post this in a few minutes, but I'll give you a shout and we'll talk about then the future going forward of us potentially doing some more stuff together.
Yeah, 100%. Dave, thanks so much.
No problem. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been, like I said, I could sit here and go on for hours, but I'm in work very early tomorrow. So, like I said, that's why I'd like a catch up as well, because we can pick up at different stages. But it's been a pleasure talking to you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I really appreciate your time. And just I want to say your story is so inspiring to other people, myself included. Just that you were able to overcome, and then it was setback after setback, to be so positive and have the mindset that you do. Like a lot of people would have given up. So kudos to you, and I love what you're doing.